It takes two loving individuals to attain ultimate satisfaction in a relationship. Scripturally, we are not told to marry whom we love, but we are commanded to love whom we marry. Love is a commandment and responsibility. Love is a decision, not an emotion. One of the major reasons for divorces as touching relationships come from the fact that people jump into marriage based on feelings. See, you do not have to feel anything to love. Feelings may change because of actions, but feelings should not dictate your actions. Choose to love no matter how you feel. But the truth is this: love before marriage is mostly based on feelings. Believe me, you cannot experience true love in courtship. True love can only be experienced after marriage, and this kind of love is sacrificial and self-denial. The book of Titus chapter 2 verse 3 and 4. Titus chapter 2 verse 3 and 4. The other women likewise, that they may be reverent in behavior, not slanderers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they teach and admonish the young women to love their husbands and to love their children. This is one of what is generally called the pastoral epistles. Here we see Paul writing to Titus, who was serving as the pastor of the church at Crete. And according to Paul's instruction, Titus was not to make it his ministry to teach the young women directly. Instead, it was to equip and encourage the older women to teach the young women. This doesn't mean that the young women were barred from listening to Titus teach, but it simply means that it was wrong and dangerous for Titus to make the young women a focus of his ministry. If there was a young women Bible study group, according to Paul, Titus shouldn't teach it. The older women should. And part of the teaching syllabus to be used by the older women was instruction for the young women on how to love their husbands and children. So instruction for the young women begin with home matters. Paul says that love for husband and children must be taught. Certainly, aspects of this love are inborn, but others aspects, especially aspects that reflect the self-giving sacrifice, must be taught. Now, this kind of love is taught. This is not love at first sight. So Paul is saying what made the young women to pack their things, leave their fathers and mother, and to dwell with their husband is not really love. They may call it love, but Paul disagrees. See, there is a dimension of love that cannot be experienced before marriage. Believe me, selfless, self-giving, sacrificial love can only be experienced in marriage. Paul says, teach them to love their husband. See, you don't really know love until you enter into marriage. And do you notice the love for husband comes before the love for children? Many women are guilty of replacing their love for their husband with that of their children. You are to first love your husband and then your children. I have seen women who call children my crown. Crown? No. This is dangerous and unscriptural. Your husband is your head and your children are the heritage of the Lord. Man, don't put your children in a position God did not design for them. Paul says, teach them to love their husband and their children. Now, Ephesians chapter 5, reading from verse 24. Husbands, love your wives. Every time I read this, I love to replace the word husband with my name. Daniel, love your wife. I don't know how many times I have said this to myself. Daniel, love your wife. When I was in courtship with my wife, I couldn't end any conversation with her without saying, I love you. I said it always. But when we got married, I don't know what really happened. I just found it difficult to say it. Not that I don't love her anymore, but suddenly the words became heavy in my mouth. And I understand the power of words. What you say is what you see. What you confess is what you experience. So I began to ask for the help of the Holy Ghost. And thank God the Holy Spirit is always available to help. Now, saying I love you to my wife is no longer difficult. Husband, love your wives. Just as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her, that he might sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of water by the word, that he might present her to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkles or any such thing, but that she should be holy and without blemish. So husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife, loves himself. Now, according to 2 Timothy 1:7, God has given us the spirit of power, but also of love. Power in your life as Christian husband must be exercised in love. This is not the power of a tyrant. This is a power that manifests through love. No husband is entitled to say that he is the head of the wife unless he loves his wife. See, the reign of the husband is to be the reign and rule of love. The reign of the husband is to be a reign and rule of love. It is a leadership of love. Husband, love your wife. Here, Paul used the ancient Greek word for love, agape. This kind of love has little to do with emotion, but it has much to do with self-denial for the sake of another. It's a love that loves without changing. It's a love that gives without demanding or expecting repayment. It's love so great that it can be given to the unlovable. It's love that loves even when it is rejected. Hear this. Husbands are commanded to love their wife as their own body. When your flesh wants to eat, you feed it. Sir, when your flesh wants to sleep, you sleep. When your flesh wants to sit down, you rest it for a while. You take care of the flesh. If the flesh gets hot, you go to a doctor for treatment. Without flesh, you wouldn't be you. So also you take care of your wife as husband. Now, if you are into ministry, hear this. You can always find someone to help do the work of the ministry, but no one but you, I said it again, no one but you can love your wife and perfectly raise your children. Remember, love is a commandment and responsibility. Choose to love your spouse no matter what. The truth is, there are times in marriage that everything inside will be ugly, but things outside will look beautiful. I mean, the feeling like wanting out in marriage is experienced by all. Fear not and stay put. People stay in marriage because they choose to, not because the doors are locked. And how to stay in marriage is different from how you get into it. You can enter into marriage by miracle, but you will certainly need more than a miracle to survive a marriage. Hear me. To survive a marriage, you will need tolerance. You will need meekness. You will embrace forgiveness and forbearance. In fact, you will need to die to yourself.
We believe you are blessed by these teachings. For prayers and inquiries, and to download more teachings, visit Sanctuary Hub on Telegram or call this number 081 67 44 5780, and you can send an email to neremidaniel5@gmail.com. God bless you.